Okay, models, so today we're going to do a bit of an inbox review of our Volatile Lancaster B3 Dambusters. This one here has been given to me by a friend in the club, so thanks very much, mate, for giving this to me to do a review on. He's also going to allow me to build this one, although he's going to paint it himself, but obviously I'm going to have to paint the inside to put the fuselage and that together, but he's going to actually do the rest of it afterwards. So I'm really looking forward to actually doing this build. I love the Lancaster. Who doesn't? Everyone loves them. So this one here is the Volatile one. I've never actually had a look at one of these kits, so I'm quite excited to dig into this and have a bit of a look through it. I had a little bit of a quick, I pulled them out before and had a quick look in there, and yeah, it does look really nice, but I'm looking forward to going through it with you guys now on the camera. Box art, like usual, just beautiful stuff. Like this thing in flight going over the damn wall, and obviously it would have dropped its bouncing bomb back here. You can see the walls exploded behind it. Really nice stuff. Some of the box art these days is just sensational. I'm just loving some of the box art that we're getting coming out these days. The rest of the box we've got down on here. We've got a few pictures of one that's been built up, obviously, and painted up, and looks very nice. I've got a few Lancasters in the stash, but this one here I haven't got. So a bit of information there on the kit itself, a bit of information on the actual aircraft itself. This one here is in 72nd scale. Anyone's built Lancasters and knows much about them, even in 72nd scale, it's a fairly big bird. So anyway guys, we'll open the box up. Now the guy who owns this has already had it open and done his little routine, which most of us do have. We've got a routine when we get new kits. Some of us leave them sealed, some of them open them up. This guy's a bit like me. He puts certain things in plastic bags to keep them protected, which is a good idea. He takes the fuselage halves off the sprues so they don't get buckled and bent and distorted or whatever. Decals and clear parts are in a separate plastic bag to take care of them. So anyway, we'll go through our instructions first. I think I might have a quick look at those. I think he's got his decals in here actually. Yeah, they are in there. So on the front page here, like normal, we've got a bit of information on the Lancaster itself, like the whole story there about the bomb and all that sort of stuff, the Dambuster versions, like all your different languages like usual. Here's some of our like little shortcuts, our little icons, and telling you what those icons mean as you go through. Here's our decals. Very nice sheet of decals. I can see, well, actually I can feel a little bit of a lip on them. Revell, like, are not known for the best decals in the world, but they're not the worst either. We've got our dash and everything there as well, all our instruments and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how my mate goes putting those on there. You can get them to settle down nicely, but they're all there for the different markings. And then we've got our colour call-outs on this page, and then we've got our sprues on this one here with all the different parts on the sprues. And then we get straight into the interior, doing the cockpit. Now, like I say, I see on the decal sheet there's actually the instrument panel. When we go through the parts, we'll see if the instrument panel is built up whether you actually have to use the decals or whether you can actually paint it up yourself. But looking at those, it's some nice little bits of detail in there. Like, it's not too plain. It obviously not like a 48 scale or anything like that where it's overly complex, but it looks like our seat belts are moulded into the plastic there as well, which is nice. It's really nice to see that they've got seat belts included in these things. Not that when you're looking in through the canopy of this aircraft you see much, because there's so much framework and that you don't see a lot inside, but it is nice to have that detail in there. That's all fairly standard. Make sure we go to the right page. Okay, and looks like we've got the base, the floor base going on here. Looks like there's a bit of a wing strut going on up here, like a bit of a cross frame to sort of hold the wings up, I guess, or something like that. But yeah, we'll see that as we put it together, I suppose. Clear glass for all our little tiny windows. So they're in rods with the little bubbles poking through, which is a good idea. I love that, rather than little separate ones where you've got to cut them out separately and put them in individually. It can be a real pain to do that. Even these guys down here are on the bar, so that's really nice. That's a great idea that they do that. Got our little tail wings here by the look of it, going together in two parts. Yep, and then they get poked through at the back there, because there's a spar there, and then they must get stuck onto there. Then our main wings going together, And here is our main wings, and yeah, and our tail wings going on down here. And like I say, there's that little spar at the back, and there's that big one at the front that actually props your wings up and gives them a guide to go to. And this is something that's really nice, guys. Looks like we've got our engine, so we might be able to have an open cowling. I'll ask my mate that lent me this kit whether he wants those open or shut, but regardless, I will paint one up and show you one all nice and painted up. If he wants it covered up, that's fine, we can cover it up, but I'll just show you how to paint the engines and stuff like that. He may not want it open, because I know it is a pain to paint around open hatches and stuff like that. It can be really painful, and he might just want to do it like a nice easy job on painting it, which I can't blame him for that. Then we got our, looks like our bomb hatches and things like that, wheel struts. Oh no, these are inside for our wheel bays going in there, and it looks like there's a little bit of detail going on them too. They're not just not all sort of just engraved in there, so that's quite nice. Here's our engine going on to its arms, placement arms, going inside the cowling, and they got spinning props by the look of that. The way that's set up there, we'll have a spinning prop, so that's really nice. And then that whole unit gets stuck onto the wing down here, which is awesome. And same on the other side, but then we got like the little bits going on around the cowling here, exhaust, things like that. So that's all fairly straightforward, guys. But I'm amazed at just how detailed that is, like with the amount of like little pieces that go to make that up. That's really nice. Like sometimes you only got like 2 or 3 parts to put those together, and it's all moulded in. And some of the older kits are fairly plain. And so that's our outside engine going on there. Then we've got our landing gear starting to go together here. That's in 3 parts. So you've got your main ones there, and then you've got your struts that hold it up and let it down, sort of thing, your hydraulics. And then you've got some more up underneath there, down on this step here. Now this must be, yeah, it looks like you've got, I have seen this before, where you've got your landing gear in one piece that you can have these closed and put it over. And then if you want it opened up like we will, it should be sitting on the wheels. You've got to cut that in half. There'll be a groove in there that you cut down and open it up. Clean the edges up obviously, but we'll go through that when we do the build. And there it is going together, whether it's closed, when you want it closed for the outside or inside, depending on which one it is. Then we got down the bottom here, the cover going on the underside. And this one here, obviously this is our bouncing bomb with the spinning gear and that to get her up to the right revs to make her bounce across the water. And then that gets attached. So what I'll probably do, again, I'll ask my mate, we might leave that off, we'll leave it off, and he can paint that separate, because it might be a bit painful to do it when it's on the aircraft. And plus, we don't want anything that delicate where you're going to knock it off, bump it and knock it off there while we're building. So tail landing gear goes together in 3 parts there. Our machine gun for the nose, that's our nose one, yep, that's right. Then we've got our cockpit canopy going over there. I just want to slip back, I'll just have to have a look at, oh yeah, that's good, because I was worried about some of these kits with the bombers, when you actually put the fuselage together, these gun turrets at the back are actually, they've got to be put in at that stage, and it's really painful because you've got to mask them, and because you can't mask them when they're on there. So I'll be able to leave all that off, and my mate will be able to do all that when he wants to do the painting section. Obviously I'll dry fit them to make sure they're going to fit on there okay for him, so he doesn't have to do any work to make them fit, but that gives him the option then to do all the masking of that. I'm just looking over here. Here's our side panels for our main canopy there, those 2 bubble windows that go into the sides of your mainframe there. And then the covers over the back. And here comes the rest of our turrets by the look of it here. our tail turret. Props going on there. And yeah, because this is the Dambusters one, you don't have that turret sticking out at the tail there. That's all going to be covered in, so that's fine. But it looks like a fairly straightforward build, guys. It looks very nice. We've even got our arms there for moving our flaps and so on. We've got our clear parts going in there. It shows you where to put your antenna wire across from the tail. And then we've got our painting over here, our painting instructions and decal callouts. And we've got one, yeah, we've only got the one colour callout. That's just for our Dambuster unit. So, but that's ample. That's all you need, guys. Just the one version. But yeah, very nice. Looking at that, I'm really excited to get into this and build it now. So we'll start going through the parts and having a look. Okay, looking at the recessed panel lines. I don't think they're overdone. They're not really fine ones like the brand new moulds that you get, but they're not overdone either. They're actually quite nice. I think they're suitable for this scale. For 72nd scale, they'll be fine on an aircraft this big. And plus, once you paint this too, they'll fill in a little bit, so it won't be too bad at all. But all the panels are there, everything's there. It's going to be quite nice because there's plenty of little panels and hatches and stuff, that access panels. So it'll really show this up when we do our pin washers and so on. Our cowlings, again, really nicely done. Some beautiful rivet detail over those. And then our seats, and these are the seats we're talking about with the, it's got the seat belts built in there, which is really nice. That's a nice touch, that. And there's our gauges, and you can actually paint those separate or use the decals by the look at it, or your decals. I would probably paint those separate, to be honest. I don't really like using decals for doing instrument panels. I'd rather paint them by hand. They just look a little, I don't know, putting decals over them and then clear coating that, they just look like a decal stuck on there. So I'd rather paint them separate, but we'll see how we go when we do the build. But that looks quite nice. This one here, it's just the other sides of our wings, and that's our spar for the tail wings that go on there. Here's our pulleys and that and our holding for our bomb. And here's the tails again, some beautiful detail on those. Looking at the rivets inside those hatches, really nice. And even these little guys down here, they've got some really nice little bits of rivet detail going on there. That's really nice how they've done that. Because I have seen some that don't have the rivets inside those, like the shape's there but there's no rivet detail in it. So it's nice that that's all added in there. Very nice actually. There's no flashing or anything that I can see. I mean, obviously there's going to be seam lines up the middles of things that you've got to be cleaned up, but that's, even a Tamiya kit will have that. That's just part and parcel of the moulding process. But I don't see any flashing or anything. I'm looking at the exhaust here. Normally, with the older kits especially, you used to get flashing hanging off those guys. I can't even see a seam up the middle of that, to be honest. They're really nicely moulded. There probably will be a seam there, but when I get my magnifying glass on, I'll see it. Here's our little vents that go on the side of the cowlings, and here's our tyres. I thought it was a flat spot, but it's not. There is a little bit of flash on those, but obviously they go together, and then you'll sand that off. That's not a problem if they're just on there. A little bit of flashing on the side of our bomb here, which is not too bad. It's just a little prickle of it there. But it's strange, I see flashing on. They're the only parts I can see flash on. Everything else is really nice and clean. And I'm just looking at here, we have got our radiator grills buried down inside there that I can see, so when it's painted you'll be able to see the grills in there. Very nice. This one here, again it's the same sprue but the opposite side, and it's exactly the same. There's a little bit of flash there, a little bit of flash on this guy, but other than that, very nice. Everything else is really nice. Again, we've got our nice rivet detail going around these as well. Yep, very nice. And looking at the exhaust, they're really nicely done there. They've got the twin exhausts coming out of each side. Looking at our props here, so just be aware guys, the props are different. Like you've got your rounded ends and your sharp ends on these props, so don't get them wrong. When you go through the instructions, make sure you follow your number call outs when you put them on. Here's our framework here. Again, there's no flash on that. That's really nice. Part of our landing gear. You see how fine that is, and the way it's actually attached with really thick sprue points there, so that might be a little bit of a cutting those off. You're just going to have to take it very easy, very gently taking them off there, but they look quite nice. I'm looking at ejector pin marks too. They're all in the right places. They're all inside. We're not going to see them. This guy here, again, it's all the little aerials and so on. Again, they're really nice. No, I can't see any flash on them. There is a like a seam line running up the middle of there, which that's typical. That's not a problem to clean up though, because it's not like they're overly fine. This guy here, the tip of that might be a little bit fine, but you just take it careful with fine parts like that. But they're actually quite nice for the size of them. And here's the undercarriage where a bomb's going to be actually sitting in here or hanging from underneath here. But again, no flash. I can see. There's a little bit of flash down along there, but that should clean up nicely. It's not in a bad spot, it's in a quite a good little spot to be cleaned up. Really not sure. Oh, that's, yeah, really not sure what they are, but they look to be nicely moulded. Now here's our fuselage. Now looking at these, and this does happen in a lot of kits, this is not too bad, but there is injector pin marks. You can see one there, there, they're all through it. But they are in places where you're not going to see those. By the time you put your cockpit in there, that one will be covered. That one's underneath that housing there, you won't see that. And these windows are too fine, far too fine, to see those injector pin marks from the other side. So even though they're there, they shouldn't take any cleaning up because they're just not going to be seen. But all our ribbing's in there. We've got our little radio units and different things with their dials on them. Very, very nice. That's all in there. So it's going to come up quite nice. And it's a real shame with these beautiful aircraft like this that you do all this work inside and it's beautiful, but then it gets covered up when you put the fuselage together. Sorry about that, guys. The camera just ran out of room there. I'll just get this to focus in a little bit close again for us so you can see a bit better. But as I was just saying about the fuselage, everything's quite nice. Those injector pin marks, like I was saying, they're in an area where you're not going to see them. And I'm just looking at the other half. It's got them in the same place. Obviously, it's just a reverse of the other side. So, but yeah, exactly the same as the other side. You're not going to see them where they are. So once this is painted up, when it's open like this, they might look a bit ugly, but you know once that goes in there, the cockpit and everything's going to cover those ones. That one there you won't see because it's just right up underneath there. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to be spotted at all, so I'm not even going to worry about cleaning those up. I'll just paint that. But yeah, that's quite nice with all the ribbing and that in there. And got our last sprue here. Now this guy here, this is our tail wings, upright tail wings obviously. Again, some really nice rivet detail in around these, the little engravings and that, which is nice. I know some people would say that the panel lines are a bit thick, but you know, for 72nd scale, but on a big aircraft like this, once it's all painted up, and like I say, you put an undercoat and then your base coat and stuff like that over it, it does fill those in a little bit, so they won't look too overdone. And I have seen this build up. It's a nice aircraft, so yeah, that looks alright there. We go on to our clear parts now. My mate who lent me this has put them in a clear bag, which I recommend that people do. It just protects your clear parts. It's something I've got in the habit of doing now too as well, putting them in separate plastic bags. Just looking at these, they don't look too bad. I can see little bits of flashing on some of them. It's not overly bad. One thing I can see, there's a bit of distortion, like it's sort of like an orange peel effect over the back of this one here across there, and these ones here are fairly bad. You can really see it's really like orange peel effect on there. And the trouble is, I think it's on the outside, but yeah, it is on the outside. So if you try and clean that up, you're going to actually lose your framework. So that's going to be a bit of a, what I might do, I'll dip those in future. And what that'll do, hopefully that'll take that orange peel effect out. Well, I'm hoping it will. Well, it will to a certain degree. This one's got a mark that runs right through there, almost looks like a scratch. Well, I don't think it's a scratch, it's just part of the moulding. I don't know, maybe it had a dirty mould or something, but it's only on there and there that I can see. The rest of it's not too bad. I actually, down around the bottom of that one, I can see a little bit of distortion. Like it's not, they're definitely not the clearest bits of plastic I've ever seen, but yeah, I'll probably have to dip them in future. I'll see how they go once they're dipped, and I'll look at maybe if that doesn't come up, what options we've got to replace them with a. I'll look on the internet and see if anyone else has had this problem with the mouldings. If they haven't, it's obviously just this sprue here, and we might be able to get it replaced. Or I don't know if there's vac form sets or something like that, some sort of replacement sets we can get, but we'll have a look at that as we do the build, guys. Yeah, I don't want to give it to my mate with the distorted canopies on it. I'm sure he'd want to replace them too if he was doing the build. But anyway, guys, we'll see that when we get to doing the actual build, what we're going to do with that problem. Actually looking at it even from a bit of a distance here now, it is a problem. It's not pretty. It's a damn shame, but because everything else looks fairly nice. But anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. That's everything that's in the box. Like I say, I'm really looking forward to doing this build, and thank you so much to my mate for allowing me to build this kit for him. It's something I just love putting kits together. But don't get me wrong, I love doing the painting too, but putting them together is just lots of fun. Like, I find the challenge rewarding and stuff like that. But anyway, as always guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't sub below. I'll have links and things like that to different places where you can get this kit and stuff like that. And stay tuned for me to do the build, because I'm going to go straight on to the build with this one now to get it done for my mate and get it back to him. But yeah guys, that's about it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.